Hey, what's going on? This is Troy, and this is the Planet 76 podcast, your source for Sixers news, highlights, hot takes, and more. Welcome to the show.
All right, Sixers fans, welcome to another episode of Planet 76. This is episode 130. It is just after 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and the Sixers just finished up their West Coast road trip. Thankfully, for those of us that have stayed up, they just finished against the Utah Jazz and finally got a win on this road trip. Most recent episode 129, we just talked about the fact that the Sixers have been struggling, losers of four straight on the road, but now do get the job done as they prepare to fly home tonight. I'm sure 127, 124 over the Utah Jazz. It was a wildly entertaining game. Sixers controlled the game lead for most of this one. I think the Jazz picked up their first lead late in the third, and their largest lead of the game was only 3 for the Jazz. And the fourth quarter was just back and forth, trading buckets, trading leads, and we actually saw a um, a couple Jazz threes late to give them the lead. I think there was maybe a minute and a half left, and Tyrese Maxey hit one from the parking lot. And speaking of Tyrese Maxey, he scored 51 tonight, joined some elite company as, joining Wilt, Allen Iverson, Joel Embiid as players to have two 50-point performances in the same season. So Tyrese Maxey with 51. He made 7 of 9 from three-point land. He made 10 of 11 free throws. He was the story in this one. He was remarkable. I think he had 32 at the half. And finished the game with 51, and they needed every bit of that again as they win by 3. But he had a crazy deep three to tie the game with just over a minute, and then Patrick Beverley actually hit a three off a Tobias Harris dish in the corner to put their Sixers up 3, and then they made their free throws late and were able to come out with a victory. So that's the really great news today. One, the great news is Tyrese Maxey's performance. The second piece of great news is that the Sixers were able to end their 4-game losing streak and hopefully turn the momentum as they now are 30-17 on the season, picking up win number 30. So that's great news. There's some good news, obviously, too, tonight. And just, again, the Sixers still not healthy, but part of the good news was Jaden Springer's performance. He played some really good defense on the Utah Jazz and Jordan Clarkson specifically. Mo Bamba played well. He had 9 rebounds and 3 blocks in this one in 18 minutes. Tobias Harris had a complete game against the Jazz, going for 28 points, efficient, 13 of 21. He did not get the 3-ball to drop, but it was 0 for 5 from 3, but everything else was clicking. He had 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and a steal and a block and no turnovers. Very good game from Tobias Harris tonight. But again, Tyrese Maxey's the story in this one. Good news, great news, all of that in the nightcap. But earlier today, there was some bad news. We talked about on the last episode, 129, Joel Embiid did not look right against Golden State and then suffered an injury that wasn't even linked to the same kind of knee injury beforehand that he was struggling with, but didn't look right all game. Kuminga landed on his knee late in the fourth quarter against the Warriors. And then it comes out today that he does have a significant meniscus injury. And the word is that the team and Joel will figure out a plan moving forward over the weekend as to how to recovery, whether surgery is involved. We don't know. Whether it'll be surgery, whether it'll just be rest, whether it'll be significant rehab to gear up for the playoffs, whether he's done, we don't know. So you got to feel bad for Joel Embiid, who obviously is having an insane season, but yeah, just next man up, I guess. It's hard to replace Joel. You can't replace Joel, but performances from Paul Reed and Mo Bamba are going to be important coming up, and still getting the Sixers back to health outside of Joel Embiid is going to be important. You get the Anthony Melton, you get Robert Covington back in the swing of things, because tonight's starting lineup, you're starting Daniel House and Paul Reed, along with Maxey, Oubre, and Harris. Two guys that aren't normally going to be starting in Daniel House and Paul Reed. So Sixers are beat up, and the biggest one, the most significant injury, of course, is Embiid, and we'll just have to see over the next coming days as to what the report is on his health and the likelihood of him being part of what the Sixers are going to do this season moving forward. All right. So again, Tyrese Maxey, the story against the Utah Jazz is they get a 127-124 victory. Tyrese Maxey goes for 51. Good to have him back after missing, I think, the last 3 games. He even said he's not yet 100% with the ankle, but did want to give it a go. Tyrese Maxey was also named an All-Star reserve, so his first All-Star selection. So big shout out to Tyrese Maxey. And that'll do it for this episode of Planet 76. Thrilled that the Sixers finally got a win. It seems like forever, and hopefully it's a trend in the right direction. We'll see you next time.
You just listened to an episode of the Planet 76 podcast. Hey, we appreciate you joining us for this episode. Whatever platform you're on, why don't you hit that subscribe button for us, and we'll see you next time.